This call is being recorded.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning. What's up, man?
um, Much appreciated. Thank you for calling in, and thank you for your patience.
Yeah, no doubt.
All right, perfect. So, with that being said, we're gonna get right into this reading, and we see you did get the astrological. Sorry, we see you got the transit forecast, the astrological transit forecast. So, I am recording this conversation. Please don't hesitate to interrupt if you have any questions at all whatsoever. That's totally fine. And glad that we can start with such a reading on this morning. We see right off the bat you were born an ascended master with your sun in Pisces. You, and you got your,
Sorry about that.
oh my gosh, this is why I always like have the attitude towards Pisces that I do, because this always happens every single time without fail. It's like Pisces just has to let you know, like, yeah, I'm here. But yeah, we see your moon is in Aries, and then we also see you're an angel. You have your rising in Gemini, 0 degrees,
Yeah.
which as someone who uses equal and hold, it's so awesome. So right off the bat, we know you're an angel. Not only are you an angel, we know that you're chosen by destiny, because whenever you have the rising on whenever you have the north node on your rising, that is a prime indicator that you're in a position to realistically be a literal instrument of destiny. So as an angel, as a Gemini rising, because Gemini is the messenger and messengers are angels, what this does is it primarily now has you be an instrument of the truth of destiny. And the only reason why this is very relevant is it's amazing you got this transit forecast off the heels of the full moon in Taurus we're stepping into, because not only are we kicking off the completion of the 6th house cycle you started with the new moon, but we're also looking at, of course, the completion of the North Node. And uh I, especially as a Saturn vessel alien or connected to Saturn, I take very seriously timing. And it speaks a lot about you for you to order this at the timing to be perfect to the T, where the North Node is right next to your AC. So you're on the verge of
Right.
completing this. This is the most badass thing ever. And we see that Chiron is 28 degrees Taurus. So the healing, the natural healing ability you possess is on the verge of unlocking fully post Saturn return. The last time the North Node was here in Chiron, you didn't complete your Saturn return, versus now that you fully returned your power. And this is getting ready to release, because Chiron is a very important, as an angel, healing mechanism. You're also an instrument for this natural healing. And this may have caused, normally people say Chiron in the first causes bullying in early age. This technically is Chiron in the 12th. So this is like transcendent level healing of like, this is transcendent level natural healing that also applies to the body language. This is weird, but it's strange. But like Taurus in the 12th, without making this too much of a natal chart reading, Taurus in the Chiron and Taurus is going to be like natural healing, like being able to touch people and heal, or just healing with your aura, right? But in
Yeah.
the 12th, as a Gemini is the mind, you can literally think about it. You can literally think about it and they're healed, especially as an ascended master. So that could be hard to understand. So, and then also, once the North Node goes there, boom. But so we know that February 2021 was when chapter 9 started for you. First of all, I'm so excited to do this. Your chart is legit. Your chart is dope. I really love following the Jupiter cycle because it really does key you into a lot. I didn't know I was going to become the peace dealer when Jupiter was transiting my 12th house. It wasn't until
What?
right. The 12th house is spiritual beliefs and religious beliefs. So
Right.
when
Right.
Jupiter was it's a house of release. So when Jupiter's in my 12th, I was evolving that. And that I experienced as, I got back into Christianity and then I let it go. I didn't realize that I was going to not be Christian. And that's what led me to read horoscopes. It wasn't until Jupiter went through my first in Gemini that I became enlightened to myself as the peace dealer. And like I've been literally on a Jupiter adventure. So, in Pisces, the cycle's about to close, we're about to start a new one. And this is important because 2010, when we started it, was when you personally kicked it off. As a Gemini rising in your 10th, but as a Pisces sun, you're first.
Yeah.
So mapping Saturn and mapping Jupiter are very important.
Yeah.
Congratulations. We see you completed your rising star year that kicked off February of 2021. I was talking about this because you and I both have Aqua MC. Mine's 9 degrees, yours is
Right.
7. It's just I'm a Taurus rising and you're a Gemini rising.
Right.
And, with Jupiter and Saturn here, we're coming into career upgrades. But what my spirit was really ministering to me is that people don't really know yet that Aqua MCs are extraordinary legends. Like we don't fall off. What I'm gonna actually share with you is an article about celebrities with MC and Aquarius, and I want you to study this because what everyone with Aqua MC is breaking into right now is the definition of a legacy that's going to last forever. Would you say that you've resonated to the notion of at least the knowledge of your career upgrading?
Yes. Like that's what the whole drive was for the motivation of the call. It's like I
Dude,
know I'm destined for the greatness, but it's like I know it's the longevity is there.
the longevity, right. And you're not gonna fall off. You have Venus here too, dude. Oh my gosh, it's amazing. So like there's an indescribable feeling that coming into next year because your 10th house is Pisces, you're net like you made it. You've accomplished something since you began this Jupiter cycle and Saturn cycle that as we finish the year off, it's like a golden treasure that you can never lose because the consequences, you've done the work already. So I need to start this reading off by saying congratulations because you're
Thank you.
you're wrapping around the biggest W and win ever. Like you're establishing the extraordinary quality of your legacy. And in the ninth house, your legacy is to be known this lifetime. The
Yeah.
proximity to Venus is going to include maybe beauty, or it doesn't have to be like modeling or beauty. It's really just going to be, a creative expression, artistry, not in the Leo way, but in the Aqua way, where you're leading forward with the knowledge. Because in the ninth, you're a teacher. You're someone who teaches knowledge, whether through science, whether through I have this in Aquarius, and I'm known for teaching about the stars. So you're
Right.
whoever learns from you, you're gonna drop knowledge. But get this.
That's
You have this
that
strange wait, what was that?
that's what I do for a living. Like I'm a professional basketball trainer, and it's
Perfect.
not about the basketball for me. People connect with me because of what they learn from me outside of that, whether it's deeper teaching and things like that. So for you to say that without even knowing what I do for a living is just another testament.
And thank you so much for confirming that for me. I needed to know that. It looks like too you seem to be 22 uh 26. It looks like you're an 11 life path, which as a
Yeah.
Pisces sun is even wilder. That's very interesting. So it would make sense that you have this knowledge ascendancy with the MC, ninth house ascension, Aquarius knowledge, because yeah, of course your shadow can heal people. Of course you can think about healing people, and in a strange way they're healed. Of course you're going to teach people knowledge because you're an angel, and your destiny is literally to show people the truth of you. That's literally your destiny. Like when the North Node is in the first, this destiny is about uncovering yourself. The last person who I met whose North Node was in the first blew my mind. Like just because she exists, I came into such profound understanding of who I am. and
Right.
that's her destiny. Like, she literally just has to
Right.
be herself. That's your
Right.
destiny. Like, you literally just have to truly stay true to you at all times. And Uranus is in the seventh, so the way you show people this is going to be the most unconventional way ever. So here's the thing: the ninth house is the rising star year for you, because this is the year you literally came into the ascended knowledge relative to the last time that Saturn was here, like
Mm.
uh 91, and Jupiter like 80, well, like 90, well 12 years ago. You're ascending to the higher knowledge of your angelic being, and this was happening while the north node was going through your first. So it's like, as you're destined to unlock your angelic magic, you're evolving the higher knowledge of what it means to be a celestial being like that. And this is through practically expressing it. February, of course, was you ascending to that knowledge, and then August completed that cycle with you taking what you have taught and ascended, and now can express it by heart and break it down creatively in Leo. And
Right.
so Scorpio season is completing this process, and the new moon very seriously integrated into your lifestyle this pure behavior of the knowledge of your angelic being. This is where,
Question.
oh, go ahead. And please don't hesitate to interrupt if you have any questions.
Question. Do we know which angel this is, or like what it represents, which like if we listen to Dolo's always like, hey, I'm Archangel Uriel. You
Now
say,
we're
hey, I'm Archangel Michael,
Now
right?
we're talking, right. And now this is a very
So
important question, because, oh, my bad. Yeah,
go ahead. That's my question.
this is a very important question, because every angel has a name. Every spirit has a name. So
Exactly.
the reason why Uriel can very confidently say he's Uriel is we have to look at the nature of Uriel. We know Uriel is the light of God. So that would mean that
Right.
Dolo has to be light. And we know that Dolo is Aries, Leo, and his moon is in Sag on the
Right. Right.
Antares asteroid of Uriel. So it's
Right.
like, it's undeniable. My son is in the Aldebaran constellation of Archangel Michael, and my natal chart has that, archetype. So it'd be more, whereas Dolo is Uriel, Michael is more aspect of me, right?
Right.
It's the name I have. So we know that your rising, your mark of identity, is in the first decan of Gemini with the North
Right.
Node. That
And my North
is,
Node. Right.
which is directly connected to Aldebaran. So
Aldebaran. I heard that. Right.
which is the Archangel Michael star. We also know that your moon is in Aries and that your sun is in Pisces. So your expression of we know that you have a divine spirit and an original soul. So as an angel, you have the vibration of original divinity. So,
Mm.
as an ascended master, you would definitely be a high ranking angel or a high order celestial. But this is the most important thing: the reason why you're asking this is with the North Node 1 degree and 44 minutes. I was looking at that today, like, wow, that's such an angel degree. You are unlocking the truth of your angelic being, which is the name of it and who you are. You are literally born at 9:44 a.m., the angel number. Like, you are truly an angel. So, like, this is wild. Right? We can call you Angel John, but like, it's deeper than that, right? Like, there's
Right.
an actual representation of an angelic being that you represent. And I really feel like, if there's any doubts around that, this is going to be released. But the way you can tell, like, the natal chart will confirm with the nature of that angel. Because, like, for example, there was somebody who I met online, and he said that
Mm.
he's a aspect of Archangel Michael. And I was like, no, I don't believe that. Like, I didn't tell him this. In my head, I was like, nah, I mean, I'm pretty sure you're just saying that. And then I looked at his chart, and he had certain key components to his chart that correlated with Michael. He was like a
Okay.
29-degree Gemini rising, and then he had a demiurgic aspect. So I was like, wow, he's not wrong to say that, especially
Okay.
how he said it, right? So that's what let me know that, like, certain people come into this incarnation as certain representations, but certain people wear these beings like armaments. So I think it would be an understatement to just even call you an angel, because the Pisces sun gives you the spirit of a beyonder, one that transcends this realm, as you're a divine
Mm-hmm.
being and a conduit. So something to keep in mind, you are quintessentially coming into the realization of who that is. And once we step into Sagittarius season, you're showing that to people. The eclipse that we finish off with the full moon in Taurus is releasing an old personification, as you're now releasing old unconscious beliefs attached to body language and your behavior, because the full moon's going to be on your Chiron, and then we're going to have the new moon in Sag that's going to be uh right by the eclipse, and we're going to close off that 1 degree Sagittarius south node. That is going to be the conclusion of this eclipse chapter, to where it's like, not only do I know exactly who I am as an angel, but now I am showing that directly to people, now that I have done 6 months of figuring that out and realizing that. And how does that resonate?
Yeah, that's like that makes a whole bunch of sense, right? So it's because like I've been hearing that from other people. Hey, I've been hearing Michael a lot, like from other people in their dealings, right? But even though it's in their dealings, and for me to hear it, it still had somewhat of a resonation with me
You've
that
been
I
hearing
did not
Michael?
know. Yeah.
Okay, and I really appreciate you so much for saying that. Let me share with you this article, because um this is where you know, for you to hear that, which is also clairaudient, um it's just very revealing. I don't know if you can access the chat in this, but I'm going to send you this link when I send you the recording. But it's an Astrology King article. Do you see any screen? Do you see your chart?
No, I don't see anything.
Oh, okay, because I was sharing the screen to your chart, so that's totally fine. That's not a problem. When you get the
I
record,
called in. I didn't. So
right.
I'm over the phone.
No, you're straight, and that's totally fine. That's totally fine. But yeah, I'm when I send you this recording, I'm gonna send you the articles that I'm, referencing, and one of them is the Astrology King article. And I'm so glad that you said you, especially as a Life Path 11, you hear Michael, because once again, this article you'll see, just like I said before, um, Du- 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 du. There we go. There's even fixed star conjunction. So Aldebaran is 9 degrees Gemini, right next to your North Node. And there we go. This is one of the 4 key stars in heavens, also called archangel stars. Michael, in this case, military commander of the heavenly host. It is also called Watcher of the East. Okay, so
And and I didn't mean to cut you off. And
no, you're straight.
within my human design, one of my not self types is anger. So it's like if it's Archangel Michael, who's a war angel, that would make sense. Like it's in alignment.
Yeah, especially with the Aries moon, which is prone
Yeah,
to
with it just
anger.
makes sense.
So what is your human design profile?
I'm a manifester,
Manifester. Okay, that's deep. So yeah, we
so
know that.
everything makes sense.
Yeah, no, it's important too, because the AC is your identity. It's like your personality, but we can tell a lot about how your you literally have angel physiology. So I'm going to share you that article too.
Okay.
It's a superpower wiki link, because physiology is your AC. It's the nature of your body. And then of course, angel is Gemini. So you have a Gemini AC, you have an angel physiology. And then there's also archangel physiology. So I'm going to share you that article too, because what applies to Michael will apply to you, because as a Pisces sun, right? Whereas my ability to connect with Michael is more through the Capricorn channel. As a Pisces sun, you can literally shapeshift into any vibration. Like Pisces, y'all, the Pisces vibe is like so supreme. So this is another indicator that will kind of do that. But to see that you have your rising there, and you were born 944, and it's your destiny to be an angel, and you've been hearing Michael, and your rising is literally with the North Node next to the Aldebaran star, we can say safely that you identify as Michael, as an instrument of this. Because as an instrument of this Archangel Michael personification, you carry the vibration of original divinity. And we know that, you know, personally, so that means representing this true personification, or being truly like an instrument or a sword in this case, uh you experience this in the 10th house with transcendent awareness, in how as an angelic being you holistically connect everything around you. I have to be careful with my words, because according to science you don't exist. You only exist in like fantasy or sci-fi. So you literally have Uranus square your sun, and you have the south node on your Uranus, right? So
Hmm.
that square is legendary AF. Uranus square sun is going to be, in this case, one of the most misunderstood aspects you can have, because you're literally witness to divine magic and supernatural phenomena that you also induce for others, but of course, as an angel, that shows you the change real time, in ways that you can show other people. Uranus in the seventh is very unconventional, and people are going to think you're crazy, because you're going to just like openly talk about, you know, and being an angel, and like, seeing things that really like open people up to concepts they would have never really thought. But the way you do it is so genius. Before they can doubt it, you've disarmed them, and now you're talking to people about things they would never talk to anyone about or believe.
So I'm gonna share something with you to the point that you just said. Like that was my next thing. Is like, hey, I want to bring something here that no one knows about yet, right? Like I want to, you know, like how you're able to speak on things, or how Dolo is able to speak on things that we can't find it in a book. There's no reference point really to go
Right,
to where he's pulling this information from, the way he pulls the information,
right.
right? The way y'all channel this information in a certain manner, it's like, well, that's not how it's taught anywhere. So that was one of the things that I just had this deeper dwelling to want to be able to bring down the next set of information that would be needed to give to this generation that's going to be able to do something about it. That it's their time to do something about it, if that makes sense.
Yeah. And you know what? Now I'm starting to come into deeper understanding, because first of all, you're in the second decade sub ruled by the moon. But original divinity, the original divine being, was Jesus. And uh Archangel Michael is identified as Jesus, or Jesus is Michael. So I would also want to push that your way too. Um I think in a sense, as an individual collective entity, as a true angel, I think you kind of share into oneness with everything. So you might be a little bit of everyone too. Which
Yeah.
is why I was like, you may not just be Michael, right? But you definitely personify as this angelic nature, and much more. I feel like it's much more of that too. But something to keep in mind, because thank you so much for sharing that. Pisces is, what the tongue can't taste, what the eyes can't see, uh, what the ears can't hear. So your very existence is revolving around literally expressing that which can't be seen, but you can see it though.
Hmm.
Right? You have this extra Pisces sun is the literal definition of extrasensory perception. And maybe even moon too. So Mercury aligns your brain to not only facilitate that, but Uranus now makes so unconventional how you show that to other people. So the south node on here is this gift of being able to do that, to unlock more who you truly are. But The reason why this is important is you've just completed the Jupiter cycle that established this. This last Jupiter cycle that started for you 2012, which kicked off this journey, was for the sole purpose of returning your power through the Saturn return and unlocking all your abilities. Because once this comes back around, now you've awakened all your angel ability. Now it's time to, like, fulfill your mission and everything. And what's very important here is, this is the rising star year. This is you coming into the highest knowledge of this. And that's when I was thinking about, once again, the nature of Aqua MCs. Miley Cyrus is an Aqua MC. Amy Winehouse is an Aqua MC. Kristen Stewart is an Aqua MC. Will Smith is an Aqua MC. Pamela Anderson, Mick Jagger, Ashton Kutcher. Matthew McConaughey, what do you notice about these people? Gordon Ramsay, they don't fall off. These are unique talents that have, lasted the test of time. They don't get canceled. Like, these are people, like, you will never meet anyone else like Charlie Sheen. You will never meet another. Right. And that's what made me realize, wow, like, we got one of the best MCs, period. Azalea Banks, if you think she's not popular, she's not really liked at all, but she sticks out. Like, people know her. You know what I'm saying? She has a very controversial reputation. That's the Aqua MC. So, like, it's just, she has it as a Taurus rising, whereas you has it as a Gemini rising. Jackie Chan has it as a Gemini rising. Will Smith has it as a Gemini rising. Like, Will Smith is still relevant to this day.
Yeah,
You know what I
yeah,
mean? And that's because Aquarius is fixed. So it's like you're establishing your success in an unconventional way where you're pulling it from something that you can't find in the book. It's like no one can replicate you. And that's why I'm saying congratulations, bro. Because from the first time since you're born, you have established that. And we have this transit. Every Aqua MC is going through this with Jupiter and Saturn. So this is just taking this to the next level. And Saturn is now anchoring, let's just say Jupiter is evolving it, Saturn is stabilizing it. So that if it was just Jupiter, it would be a great fortune, but then that fortune can go back down. But everything that
right.
Jupiter is evolving, Saturn is making that be the new standard. And that's lasting for the next 30 years. So just straight off of that, we just have to establish, congratulations, you're successful. You made it.
And then the irony in that is that, my company's logo is made up of a Jupiter and a Saturn sign, the way I constructed the 2, 4, and the 7.
Wow.
So it's like I've always been connected before I even knew. I was always connected to those elements, those
Right.
those particular energies combined. Whether it's you looking at 10th house stuff, so it's just like
You know who else is
I
a
I get what you mean.
Gemini rising? Um 0 degree, by the way, and Aqua MC, Dr. motherfucking Dre, and Jamie Foxx. Jamie Foxx is like a literal, like, Jamie Foxx literally does everything.
Yeah, he's forever relevant, and Dr. Dre, of course, too.
Dr. Dre
Yeah,
is a literal legend. He's a master celestial. And, like, there's no one like Dr. Dre. So that's what my spirit was ministering to me. Like, I don't think y'all, like us, as because we're born 84 and 90. So now, as
right.
the right, if you think of us like cars, we're newer model cars. So, like, us stepping into this Aqua MC is like a mantle. It's like we're stepping into success that no one's gonna ever see. Like, no one will ever see the type of success we've come into. For example, like, there's no one I know who's come into success reading natal charts. So how do people even know how to acknowledge that success? Like, most people don't even know what we do. So, like, this is where it's like you have to really, you're coming into ownership and understanding of this like never before. And the Scorpio season is where you're transforming your behavior around a whole year of establishing and ascending into this. So the reason why it's important is once Jupiter returns in Pisces and then you go through this 10th house transit, because your 10th house, I'm a Taurus rising, but your 10th house is actually Pisces, which is super badass. Pisces is now in the final shift in that the fixed quality that you pretty much did the work, because this was really the toughest year. The difficult one was Capricorn, the toughest one was here, and then of course Pisces will have its difficulty, but Pisces is really now the effect, right? Now that you've done the work. So Jupiter, that's going to kick off the 10th house transit March of 2022 with Neptune, is you legitimately coming into your dream life, because Neptune in the 10th is securing a dream vocation, which is why it could be difficult. This is going against, in a way, the traditional norms of work that, is hourly or wage or salary. Neptune's like, dude, you're supernatural. Like, you're a literal angel. Like, why do you need to work a 9 to 5? Like, you're an
Right.
angel. You have ultra instinct. You don't need to sleep. You don't need to eat. You're an angel. So like, why would you need to do things the normal way? Like, this is what you're stepping into. Once again, like, you don't exist according to science. So like, this is where, like most Pisces, you could be misunderstood, but you're literally becoming the dream more so than ever. Not even just like the fantasy, the legend, because as a Pisces is a legend, so you're an original legend, which once again correlates with Michael and Jesus. The thing here, once again, though, that's important is uh, you having established this ascension of your MC and legacy. The 10th house chapter is you experiencing the effect. So by the time you go through 2022, this is you experiencing, oh, this is what it looks like for my career to upgrade. And you're going to be experiencing the wildest miracles in an entire lifetime, where like if you're investing in crypto, that goes up, like the money you're making is amazing, you have opportunities. Jupiter's a literal blessing, like it expands everything it touches. But this is where you're going to actually experience it. And what do you feel about that?
So that's when Jupiter returns again,
What was that?
right? That's what you said. When I'm going to experience this when Jupiter returns again.
Yep. December, it's going to start Capricorn season. That's your 8th house. That's when you're going to actually start to experience the real change. The real change is Virgo, but you're going to actually start to like induce the transformation in your reality
Mm-hmm.
January. And then by the time we step into March, you're already perceiving what it looks like. And you're starting that cycle, new moon in Pisces, like, wow, this is the dream life. This is the
Right.
vision I have for what I want it to look like. And the reason for this is important because Pisces offers a different perspective. So up until this point, you couldn't have known what it would look like. You know what I
Right.
mean? Like when I
It was
started my
difficult for me to see.
exactly. Like when I became the peace dealer, I didn't know what it was like to be on YouTube. So I wouldn't know, I wouldn't have the goal of like, if you told me I was going to have 500,000 subscribers, I wouldn't know what that meant. I wouldn't know what that looked like.
Right.
Versus
Right.
now where it's like, oh, I'm going to get a plaque. Oh, I actually know what it's like to have like 30,000. Like you now know what's possible, right? And once you step into next year, things that weren't possible for you, they're going to be possible. And things that you didn't really even consider possible, you're going to see all the matrix codes. And so by Virgo season of September, you've grounded this into your reality and you've had a real change because now you've made this real. And the reason why it's important is the last time Jupiter was here was 2010 with Uranus. So you're completing the cycle next year.
Mm-hmm.
Technically, it'd be accurate to say it's 12 years worth of evolution that you're coming back around to upgrade.
Makes sense.
Yeah, that's wild. So, um, Sagittarius season is now. Let's speak a little bit more toward this full moon because you have Chiron here, and so you literally are a miracle healer. Like your shadow can heal people, and I don't mean like I don't. I came up with a bar right now. It's like walk past walk past people with walk past people and I heal them. I let my shadow work. My bad, that was corny, but like
That's a ball. Yeah, that's a ball.
no, appreciate you, but like.
That's a ball.
It's gonna get really weird because Uranus, the more it comes through your 12th, the more weird you become, bro. And when I mean weird, I mean like you
Kanye weird. Yeah.
no, when I mean weird, I mean like you shook someone's hand and now their headache is gone. And now they're looking at you like, why is my chronic back pain gone because I shook your hand? And like
Okay.
it's gonna like there we go, like supernatural weird.
I
Like
thought you meant like sounding weird when I speak.
right, like you might have the intent to heal somebody and then you accidentally cure their cancer. And like weird stuff. Like people like by the time Uranus is in Gemini, um you're telling people, all right, look, I don't really want the controversy that comes with this. You know what I'm saying? But just
Yeah.
keep this between me and you that
Yeah.
you can see. And as soon as that person leaves, guys, John healed me. I can see. Oh my gosh, like this is crazy. I couldn't see before. You're just like, damn, I have to skip town. It's like everyone wants me to heal it. So it's like, this right now sounds crazy, but that's where we're headed. That's where we're at right now. And this full moon is going to release like the last anchor that inhibited you in the terms of like unconscious habits that affect your body language and value of your spirituality. Because Chiron here is a masterful harnessing a natural energy that with Mars and Scorpio, it's like you could take the natural physical energy and then you can deepen it. With in Scorpio, you literally have the authority to trample serpents and scorpions. With Pluto, Saturn, and Mars, this is like deep sexual or shadow work. It's the definition of
Mm-hmm.
shadow. And so it works with Reiki, it works with, just channeling energy. It deepens and intensifies how in extreme or deeply, especially as a Pisces sun, you can experience now more the vibe of the energy socially. And it's interesting that you have Venus square this because this is the detached cosmic element that gives you a higher knowledge of the wisdom of the behavior that's either being called out or strengthened. But as an opposition, you could also have been healing addictions in yourself and others, or more so, how you deal with this psychologically in others. This is everything that the North Node is going to visit next once it goes into
Mm-hmm.
Taurus and Scorpio. So that full moon is going to release any unconscious habits towards the full manifestation and harvest of a transformed lifestyle. So over the next week ahead from moon in Taurus to moon in Leo, this is going to be you harvesting the results of a whole year's worth of ascending your knowledge of yourself as an angel. It's like now you're an angel. And now it's
Right.
like your whole lifestyle, the behavior around your lifestyle is changing because you're approaching it with the techniques that come with being a true angel. And that's going to lead into Sagittarius season and boom, ascension apotheosis. And now you are fully showing as an original divine being the true angelic nature of you where it's you're showing and telling. It's not like you're just thinking it, it's happening. You're not having to think about, oh, what can I do to be an angel? Like you're being it. People are seeing it. People are telling you like, oh my gosh, you're such an angel. And it's like amazing because this is concluding that natal chapter with the nodal chapter. And the Sagittarius season is going to be more pronounced because you actually have Uranus and Sag. And so this is going to challenge how you exalt this collectively. I feel like with this square, it's like you have the 3D personification, but then, you're constantly interfacing with multidimensional realms and aspects and being able to see how all those possibilities affect and play out all at once, which I can't even put it full into words because that's ridiculous. Like, it's not like just focusing on one thing. It's just kind of being able to see uh at all levels how this kind of plays through. Regardless, Capricorn season is going to be the transformation into this, which is going to lead into, of course, Jupiter going into the 10th house. And with Jupiter in the 10th house, um while Venus is getting ready to retrograde in your eighth, This is now, first of all, the new moon in Sagittarius is a new cycle of partnerships. Now that you've ascended this knowledge, it's like you're in these relationships acknowledging the truth of yourself and how
Okay.
you right, and how you fundamentally lead forward with that, because it's your destiny too, by the way. That's the like the North Node is a challenge. So what's a more extraordinary challenge with fully being your angelic self, and with the Sag, like you not even having to say it because you could just show it on site. And so, this is now unlocking the final abilities here, that with your Jupiter and Neptune and Cap, the eighth house transit is a new moon cycle of stepping into a much greater intimacy with the collective and the world around you, and the boundaries drawn, and how you transform how much more incredibly you deal with other people, and how much more psychic you are because you now trust yourself more with who you are. And this enables you, because with Neptune and Jupiter here, you have a very keen talent of psychologically discerning their behavior. uh but you know what, your sun's in Pisces, so it's already a psychic on another level. Like I feel like somebody could try and take a cookie from behind your back, and without even looking, your right hand just smacks their hand, like, nice try. It's like you have eyes in the back of your head.
Yeah.
So, this eighth house is going to really more transform and break you through these complex dynamics, which ironically is also going to be the bread and butter for any self-employment activity and or investments that will make a great return by July in your second house. This is your 11th house as a Pisces sun. So it's been tightening your social circle last year. And, the eighth house is a house of self employment because it's other people's resources. And when you're self
Mm-hmm.
employed, right? People pay you, and you gain their credit card information or their money. And
Right.
so,
Mm-hmm.
right, this is going to really with Venus transform the way with which you deal with others and polish how that is. It's going to transform a lot forever. This is the result of partnership. So, any new relationships you step into next month, you'll be taking action with that changed perception to deal with people in this way. And boom, we're now revisiting the Saturn contact that is now in the second decan in your ninth house. And this is where you're establishing the next round of the karmic lesson of becoming an authority, because the whole notion of Saturn being on your MC is like being a dean of a college. You're becoming an authority of what you're here to be. It's like at some point Einstein was a student in school.
Right.
Einstein came up with theories of relativity, and another fellow Pisces. But when he was 4 years old, he didn't have any authority to advise anyone on science. It
Right.
wasn't
Right.
until it wasn't until he finished his education and became a scientist, at some point he had authority to teach what he's teaching. And this is what you're establishing right now. This extraordinary authority that's going to literally establish the legacy of your career. And so February was of 2021, the first time you established this post Saturn return. And the sun coming back around is like revisiting everything you did last year. But while Jupiter was there, you were evolving your understanding of it. Now Jupiter is in the 10th. This is you coming back around after evolving it for a year, now experiencing the results, now experiencing a change in the success that's happening, and your, I don't want to say direction, but goals, what you imagine and what you dream, now that you've already expanded. And but I just want to let you know, it's really the Pisces transit where it all happens. And so
Okay.
Right. Oh, dude, it's gonna be so lit. The thing
Because
here,
in the past, things have always been like experience a little bit, but then back to lessons, and then experience a little bit. So you don't. I never really got to fully reap the benefits of what I do at the highest scale.
dude, I'm so
It's
glad you
always
said
taken
that.
away.
I'm so glad you said that. Because that's why I wanted to congratulate you, because especially with Aquarius and Pisces, like these correlate to later ages. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah, I heard
Oprah
that. I heard that.
Oprah didn't make it in her 20s. J.K. Rowling is one of the most wealthy people. She didn't make it in her 20s. She didn't even make it in her early 30s. Like these aspects are of later success.
That's
And
the crazy thing, because it's like of course, I'm not old, but it's like, yo, I'm late 30s now. So it's like, when does it, as a young player, I played overseas and then got hurt, that cut short. Then I started doing what I'm doing now. I started training because, of course, started training players because I already played at a high level myself. So I had access to high level athletes, and then I was training. And then I do that, and my business partner does some crazy stuff, and then I have to rebrand and start over. And so my whole point is, I gain, I lose. I gain, I lose. And now here I am, things are trickling slow. It's like the roller coaster is tick, 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 tick,
yeah, and I
slowly
love that
going
you
up.
said
And
roller coaster, because you're literally at the
yeah,
highest tip right now before you come down.
so,
And you
yeah,
want to think that as a, karmic sign, a lot of this was you looked out for other people. So you helped other
yep,
people come into
yep,
success. And now it's time for you to literally, like, it's like it took so long because what you're coming into is so extraordinary. It takes a while. It's gonna take,
yeah,
like, right. And so it's gonna last forever. Like, I really feel like coming into next year, you experiencing this is like, oh shit, I don't have to work anymore. Damn, like it's all caught up to me. And it's not that, like, because you have Saturn in the sixth and Mars in the sixth. So you're the type of person that even if you had all the money in the world and you could just retire, you would still work. You would still find yourself doing something because you're that extremely disciplined. Like you're that pure about like
right,
what you do in a routine. But yeah, next year you might literally just step into just be like, yeah, I don't even need to work another job. Like I straight, like this is gonna change everything. And then by the time Saturn comes to 2023, you're stabilizing that change in, it's like a new average. It's like if Jupiter went through, boom, you now have $100 billion, or you now have $1 billion through crypto. But Saturn going through there is okay. Now we've stabilized it, so you don't lose that $1 billion. Now,
right,
now, right? It's something you can consolidate over the next like 30 years, because Saturn cycles are 30 years. So, boom, once we start that cycle, because the Aquarius season is going to really bring you back to that high vantage point, and that Sun Saturn cycle is a new year cycle that's going to really, establish the extraordinary knowledge of, okay, this is what we're going to do for our career this year. Boom, we start that cycle March. And that 10th house chapter that we kick that off with is going to give you the dream. And it's going to kick off the Jupiter cycle that's going to change your entire life. And congratulations in advance, because I think this March is going to be very iconic for you. Even if it's just the seed that's planted by Virgo season, it's real. The change is real. You've grounded it through personifying through it in Gemini. And this is important because by now, the North Node is over your Chiron in Taurus. And with the North Node in Taurus, right? You're now taking this truth of yourself as an angel, and you're getting ready to manifest a real spiritual path. Now you're unlocking the pure nature of your behavior and lifestyle to manifest this spirituality, so that when the North Node goes into your 11th in Aries, you're bringing that spirituality to establish an original collective, your team. Even though the coolest thing about Gemini is that you have Aries in the 11th, so you are your own team.
right.
My favorite meme ever is you talk to yourself, and Gemini's like, yeah, that's the homie. But it's definitely important because you're establishing establishing the natural energy currents with Uranus in your 12th opposite Saturn. That's going to have you more realistically not only harness natural energy subtly in a quantum level where your own thoughts, which are things, are directing natural energy around you, but now there is a specific causality to what you do. It's not like, oh, I healed you, just have faith and like you'll see the results. It's no, I healed you. And whereas you had a cut 5 minutes ago, that boo boo is not even there anymore. And now people are like, I didn't even know you could do this with energy. And this is like that's the next frontier as you're experiencing this higher level of divinity with Jupiter in the 10th. And now that cycle that starts in the 10th house, once we step into the 11th, you're coming into establishing now relative to this transcendence of career, who are my associates? The new moon cycle in Libra you started that established the creativity you have socially with other people is going to come back around to the individuality and individual actions that you have with these people. And also, it's going to be a sneak peek of the results of your career and what's to come. Because last year, the Aries season, when Jupiter was in your ninth, was okay, these are my friends relative to this evolution of how high I see myself. So the way I connect with them is much more confident. But now, relative to the 10th house, it's okay, these are my friends, but now relative to this career expansion, where now I've stepped into greater success than I could ever imagine. And it's like, who can I even trust? But it's less about a trust issue thing and more about a, you've been real, you've been real, you've been real. You can share in this with me. Um, Boom.
Mm-hmm.
Taurus season is going to manifest everything that you've kicked off right now. If you think about the new moon in Scorpio, by the time we step into Taurus season, it's now real. And so this reality, the old reality, is releasing through the 12th, and boom, now Gemini season of 2022 is you personifying as the true angelic being you are relative to your awareness in Pisces of actually living the dream. And that's when it's going to be true for you before you ground it in Virgo and it's real.
Makes sense.
Did you have any questions?
That's a lot to unpack, so I'm gonna re-listen to the recording. I
Nice.
don't have necessarily like a question offhand, but I do have statements, right?
Cool.
One that has nothing to do with the actual reading per se, but we do have a common friend, female named Crystal, Empress Gem. I don't know if you
Yeah,
the
yeah, yeah.
name resonates with Bell,
It
but
does.
back during the lockdown or whatever, the shutdown or whatever, a whole bunch of these ways to make money was going around or whatever, and one of the schemes, not necessarily schemes, but one of the group of things that came around, I had brought her in on, and she actually had brought you in on. That's when I first
Oh, the
got
loom.
wind, yeah, of I was already like following you or watching your work, but that's when I was like, oh, that's fucking peace there, right? And then on another note, I'm actually um, I'm actually heading to Vegas because one of the players that I train, they play in the tournament in the Thomas and Maxon on the 19th. They play against Arizona, so I'm gonna be there for that game on the 19th. So I was gonna see if I could book in person. I don't know how far you are from that location, from the Thomas
Right.
and Max, but I'll
Cool.
be staying around down there somewhere. So probably book like a native or something, and see if that was could actually just to get a different vibe. You know what I mean? Play
Yeah.
some kind of tough over the phone. If that was something you wanted to do, I don't know your schedule or anything like that, but I'll be out there from like the 19th. Well, I'm actually coming in town tomorrow, 17th. We're gonna train and stuff like that. But he plays at the Thomas and Mack Center
Cool.
at the game So if you wanted to come to the game or whatever, I could get you a ticket.
Oh, that's
If
what's
that's
up.
something you want to experience. So, let me know.
Yeah, I haven't been to a game here, so I'd totally be down.
All right, cool. Do you got my number from
No,
the reservation?
no,
All right,
but
so I'll email you. I do have the email address
okay.
if that works, or you could take my number down now. And
Yeah, I gotta go
I'll
to my next reading, but please just
all right.
email it to me and I'll text you from it.